I didn't hear the creak in the hallway until it was too late. His hand was still between my legs when the floorboard groaned, just once, soft but distinct. We both froze. His breath was warm against my neck, my own heartbeat louder than the air around us. The bedroom door wasn't even fully closed. The hallway light seeped in through the crack, slicing across the edge of the bed like a silent accusation. Downstairs, I could hear the clink of glass. Maybe water. Maybe wine. Maybe my mom couldn't sleep, like usual. Maybe she was about to come up those stairs and catch me half naked with the one man she told me never to trust again. I should have said no. I should have locked the door. I should have never let him in at all. But there he was, shirt off, lips swollen, eyes daring. And there I was, letting him ruin me all over again. Because this wasn't the first time. This was the fourth. And every single time, I swore it would be the last. Before I tell you what happened next, make sure you're really alone. Because this gets worse. So much worse. You ever block someone and then check every day to see if they tried to reach you anyway? That was me. After everything he put me through, I still couldn't help myself. I'd scroll back through old texts, look for meaning in his silence, stare at that gray blocked label like it held all the power in the world. And one night, weak, half-drunk, and lonely, I tapped it off. Unblocked. Not even 5 minutes later, my phone lit up. You still think about me? 3 dots. Typing. Because I never stopped thinking about you. I should have thrown my phone across the room. I should have deleted the message. Instead, I stared at it, and I felt that sharp, addictive flutter in my chest. He still wanted me. Or at least, he wanted what he used to take from me. We didn't start sexting right away. At first, it was simple. Polite. Like two people pretending they weren't dangerous to each other. How's school? You still with that guy? I miss your voice. It was bait, and I swallowed it whole. I didn't tell anyone, not my best friend, not even myself, really. I just kept the secret like a glowing ember in my pocket, burning through every boundary I'd built since he left. 3 weeks later, he showed up back in town. Said he was only here for a weekend. Said he wouldn't stay long. Said he just wanted to see me real quick. We met in the parking lot behind the old CVS. He leaned against his stupid black car, the one I used to love riding around in before everything between us turned to ash. His hair was longer. His smile was the same. And when he pulled me in, arms around my waist, it felt like no time had passed at all. We kissed. Fast. Hard. Like the months apart hadn't dulled anything, just sharpened the edges. He gripped my jaw the same way he used to when he wanted me to forget everyone else but him. And it worked. We didn't sleep together that night. But the texts that followed? They weren't polite anymore. He was still in town 2 weeks later. Then 3. Then a month. Suddenly he couldn't leave yet because of family stuff, but I knew what it really was, me. Or maybe just what he got from me. So I made the mistake of sneaking him into my house. My parents were at a wedding across the city and wouldn't be home until late. We had 4 hours. He came in through the side door like a criminal. I locked it behind him and guided him upstairs, every step sinking deeper into that part of me that still believed he might be real this time. We didn't even make it to the bed. He had me pinned against the wall before I could speak, his lips crushing mine, his hands already tugging at the hem of my shirt. It wasn't sweet. It was reckless. Desperate. His fingers dug into my skin like he was trying to make sure I remembered. And I did. I remembered everything. The way he used to whisper all the right things while lying through his teeth. The way he made me feel like I was the only girl in the world, until the next girl found my necklace in his glove compartment. The way he'd cry and say he hated himself after hurting me, and how I'd believe him every time. But right then, I didn't care. I wanted to feel wanted. Even if it was fake. Even if it would ruin me. And then, just as I was about to let him drag me to the bed, the front door clicked open. My parents were home. 2 hours early. We froze. He looked at me, panic widening his eyes. I grabbed his hand and yanked him down the hallway, into the bathroom, locking the door behind us just as I heard my dad's heavy footsteps climbing the stairs. I pressed my ear to the door. Silence. Then the creak of floorboards. They were coming up. He whispered, "What do we do?" I shook my head. I didn't have a plan. I never did with him. That's when I made the dumbest choice of all. I dragged him into my bedroom, shoved him in my closet, and threw a pile of laundry over his shoes. Then I flopped on the bed, heart racing, just as my mom knocked lightly on my door. "Sweetheart? We're home. You okay?" My voice cracked. "Yeah. Just tired." I held my breath as the knob turned slightly, then stopped. She didn't come in. "Okay," she said. "We're heading to bed. Don't stay up too late." The moment her steps faded, the closet door creaked open. He stepped out. Smirking. "I missed this," he whispered. I didn't answer. Because I knew I was already lost. After that night, he didn't leave. Not my life. Not my house. Not my bed. At first, it was sneaky. A few hours here and there. I told my parents I was studying late, staying over at friends' places, helping with a group project. They were just happy I seemed so focused, so responsible. And I used their trust like a shield while I let him back in, piece by piece. He started bringing things. A toothbrush. A hoodie. His favorite cologne that he said smelled like me now. I told myself it was temporary. He'd leave soon, and this would be our little secret, hot, reckless, shameful, but contained. But he made himself comfortable. Too comfortable. One morning, I woke up and found him cooking eggs in the kitchen while my dad was still asleep upstairs. "What the hell are you doing?" I hissed, pulling him away from the stove. He laughed, like this was all a game. "Relax. I was hungry. Thought I'd surprise you." I pushed him out the back door and told him to never do that again. But deep down, I liked it. I liked the chaos. I liked the danger. I liked the way he invaded my world and made it spin. Every time I swore it was the last time, he'd pull me back in. Sometimes with an apology. Sometimes with a fight that ended in kisses. Sometimes with silence that stretched so long I couldn't bear it, and then, just when I'd break, there he was at my door again. I lied to everyone. Constantly. To my friends, I said I was finally healing, finally over him. They nodded, proud of me. I'd smile, then go home and find him waiting in my room, thumbing through the books on my shelf like he belonged there. To my parents, I pretended to be the daughter they believed I was. I faked yawns and fake laughs at dinner, while under the table I'd be texting him. "Come over. 11, quiet." But the lies started stacking too high. One night, my best friend Emily came over unannounced. She knocked on the front door, holding Thai food and smiling like she hadn't just driven 40 minutes across town. I panicked. He was still upstairs. In my room. I tried to keep her in the living room. Said I wasn't feeling well, that we should just eat downstairs. But Emily, being Emily, wandered. She got halfway up the stairs before I yelled. Bathroom's out of order. She turned, eyebrow raised. You good? I nodded too fast. Totally. Just, messy up there. She gave me a look but didn't press. She always gave me more trust than I deserved. I texted him from the couch. Stay quiet. Please. No reply. After she left, I went up. He was lying in my bed, arms behind his head, looking smug. You almost blew it, I snapped. He shrugged. Why are you so scared of anyone knowing? That hit me. Harder than I expected. Why was I hiding him? Was it shame? Guilt? Or just fear of losing the fake version of my life I'd built up to look clean and whole? He reached for me, but I stepped back. Something was shifting. The high I used to get from him was thinning, like smoke drifting away. I wasn't sure what I felt anymore. And then came the worst night. We fought. Over nothing and everything. I found a message on his phone, from a girl with a heart emoji next to her name. When I confronted him, he smirked. She's no one. I demanded to know who she was. You're not my girlfriend, he said. Why do you care? I slapped him. He didn't flinch. He just smiled, low and cruel, and said, You're addicted to me. That's your problem. Not mine. I kicked him out. For real this time. Slammed the door behind him. Turned my phone off. Cried until I couldn't breathe. And then, 2 days later, he showed up again. At my parents' front door. In broad daylight. My dad answered. I wasn't even home. By the time I got back, my mother's face was pale. My father's jaw was clenched. We need to talk, he said. I sat at the kitchen table while they stood across from me like prosecutors. My mom asked if I'd been hiding someone in the house. My dad asked if I'd been lying to them. I denied it. Again. But they'd seen it in his eyes. The way he smiled. Too familiar. Too confident. They didn't believe me. That night, I texted him. You ruined everything. He wrote back. You ruined it first. And that was when I realized. He wasn't addicted to me. I was addicted to losing. It started with a post. A blurry mirror selfie, 2 drinks on a marble counter, and a girl's bare leg in the corner of the frame. Her toenails were painted red. That was the first thing I noticed. The second was the caption. She's trouble, and I like it. My heart sank. My stomach twisted. I stared at the screen for almost 5 minutes, just trying to breathe. I didn't even know what I was feeling. It wasn't heartbreak. Not exactly. It was rage. It was panic. It was that dizzy, gutting realization that maybe I was never the only one. Maybe I was never even the first. I went full detective. Clicked her profile. Public. Of course. Her name was Kylie. She was gorgeous. Careless. Confident in that effortless way I never could be. Every picture of hers felt like a slap. Her hand in his lap. Her lips on his cheek. A video of them laughing in a car, his car. He had done everything with her that he used to do with me. And he posted it. Publicly. Like I never mattered. Like I never existed. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just went numb. For 2 days, I didn't eat. Barely slept. I blocked him again, on everything this time. But I kept checking her page. Obsessively. Like some sick part of me needed to torture myself with every update. Until she posted the one that broke me. It was a picture of her in a bed I recognized. My bed. Same quilt. Same fairy lights on the headboard. Same stupid stuffed bear my mom gave me when I was 12. I couldn't breathe. He brought her here. To my house. To my room. While my parents were downstairs, trusting me again, trying to pretend the last few weeks didn't happen, he walked her through my front door. The same side entrance I used to sneak him in. The same stairs. The same space. He gave it all to her, like none of it meant anything. I wanted to die. Instead, I did something worse. I called him. He didn't answer the first time. Or the second. Or the fifth. But on the sixth try, he picked up. "Wow," he said. "Didn't think I'd hear from you again." "You brought her to my house," I whispered. "My room." He paused. "You weren't using it." I could hear her giggle in the background. "You're disgusting," I said, shaking. "No," he replied calmly, "you just hate that you lost." Click. I stared at the wall for what felt like hours. I didn't move. I couldn't. The next morning, I woke up with one goal: get him back. Not because I wanted him. I didn't. Not really. But I needed to win. I needed to remind him, and her, that I wasn't disposable. That I still had power. So I started posting too. Pictures of me in his hoodie. Old texts with his name cropped in. That one photo he took of me laughing in his car, I posted it with the caption, "Some things never change." I made it look current. And it worked. She blocked me within an hour. He messaged me 2 days later. "You trying to start something?" I waited 3 hours before replying. Maybe I already did. He called me that night. And I answered. The first thing he said? "You know I miss you, right?" I should have hung up. Should have deleted everything. Should have walked away clean while I still had dignity. But I didn't. We started talking again. Secretly. While he was still with her. He told me she was shallow. Annoying. That she didn't get him like I did. I ate up every word. Let it curl around my ribs like a toxic lullaby. It was familiar. It was sick. But it was mine. One night, he asked if he could come over again. I hesitated. My parents were out of town for a funeral. The house was quiet. Empty. I said yes. He showed up at midnight. No knocking. Just opened the door like he still lived here. He kissed me before I could say anything. His hands were on my skin like no time had passed, like he hadn't touched someone else in the same place just weeks ago. And I let him. We slept together. Again. This time, it wasn't reckless. It was war. I dug my nails into his back. Made sure he saw the old photo of us framed on my desk. Whispered all the things he used to tell me, right back into his ear. And when it was over, when he rolled over and passed out like nothing happened, I got out of bed and stared at him. I hated him. I hated him so much. And I hated myself even more. Because despite everything, I still wanted him to choose me. He left before sunrise. Didn't say goodbye. Didn't kiss me on the forehead. Just grabbed his keys, slipped his shoes on by the door, and vanished like he was never there. I stared at the empty imprint on my bed, still warm, and told myself not to cry. But I cried anyway. Because deep down, I had believed, just a little, that maybe this was the moment everything would rewind. That the way he touched me meant something. That maybe he'd look at me like he used to, say those stupid 3 words again, and stay. Instead, I got silence. 2 days passed. No text. No call. Nothing. I broke first. Did it mean anything to you? He replied hours later. You're better when you don't ask questions. That was the moment something snapped inside me. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just final. Like a cord being cut. And the silence afterward was almost peaceful. I stopped checking Kylie's page. Stopped stalking his. I even deleted the thread. Blocked his number. Changed my lock screen. Threw away the hoodie. Buried the bear in the closet. But healing? It wasn't graceful. Some nights I still replayed everything, every lie I believed. I replayed that night he first messaged me after I unblocked him. The moment I could have chosen peace. The moment I could have said no. Instead, I let a man who never loved me climb back into my bed, and deeper into the parts of me I thought I'd closed off. And now, I was left with nothing but memories I didn't want and a silence that screamed. A few weeks later, I ran into Kylie at the coffee shop down the street. She didn't look at me. Didn't flinch. Just walked right past like I was air. But the girl at the counter, my classmate, looked at me with wide eyes and said, "Wait, weren't you with her boyfriend?" The word landed heavy. Boyfriend. He made her official. Me? I was the secret. The mistake. The backup plan. I smiled. Tight. Not anymore. She nodded slowly, like she knew. Like everyone always knew except me. After that, I stopped talking about him. To anyone. Not because I was over it, but because I was tired of rewriting the same heartbreak in different fonts. He didn't deserve to live in my mouth anymore. I started journaling. Not about him, but about me. Who I was before him. Who I might become after. Some nights, I still dream about him. Not the real version. The version I created, the one who held me like I was fragile and meant it. The one who never cheated. Never lied. Never used my body like a memory card slot he could pop in and out of when bored. But I always wake up alone. And I think that's the point. Because sometimes, the lesson isn't about love. It's about what you let destroy you. Just so you didn't have to be lonely. I ran into him one last time. Months later. Grocery store parking lot. He looked tired. Older. But still beautiful in that dangerous way. He walked up to me like nothing had ever happened. "Hey," he said, smiling. "You look good." I stared at him. Quiet. Then said, "You still mess around with girls in their parents' houses?" His face dropped. I smiled. Then walked away. And for the first time, I didn't look back.